Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's BBCan 10 updates and spoilers. Hope you're all having a wonderful Tuesday so far. Our house guests of the day are Brandon Johnson, John J. Gish, Selena Ventura, and Devin Tyson. Thank you all so much for the support. We really appreciate it and could not do this without you. So thank you very much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Only a few more of these things left. So thank you as always for the support. And I want to thank yesterday's super chatter because that is another fantastic way to support our channel. Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much as always. You were like a Madrosed angel. Seriously, we couldn't do it without you. For real. All right. Let's get started. Let's talk about what's been going on in the house. When we left off yesterday, they had the power veto ceremony, and Helena did not use the power veto, which means that Josh and Jacy Lynn remain up on the block. So Kevin and Helena have been back and forth this week about who they want to keep. They're taking this decision very seriously. This is the end game, right? It's make or break at this point. You could either make a $100,000 decision or you could tank your entire game. So for a bit, it was looking like they planned to vote out Josh because they were counting out potential jury votes and they felt like their best chance for both of them to win would be against Jacy Lynn. This is a bad read, especially if Jacy Lynn were to win more competitions to get to the end. That's only going to build up her resume. But they were like, yeah, I think we could beat Jacy Lynn. So it would just logically make sense to keep her around, even though we're closer on a personal level to Josh. But then after the power veto ceremony, they flipped back to keeping Josh. The more they thought about it, Kevin realized, whoa, Jacy Lynn has Gino advocating for her right now in the jury house. And he's going to have more time in there before the finale. So at this point, our best chance to win is against each other in the final two, not anybody else. So in order to do that, we need to be able to win these competitions so that one of us can be making the decision and we can both go to the final two. So they agree they are way more likely to beat Josh in competitions than Jacy Lynn in order to get to that final two. So now they're like, all right, we're keeping Josh. That's what we're going to do. Kevin was thinking that they should let Josh know yesterday that they're keeping him. Just lock it in so that he feels good about them. And hopefully, if Josh is the one casting the sole vote next week, he'll keep that in mind, right? And keep Kevin and Helena safe. So I don't know if they had this conversation with Josh or not yesterday about absolutely keeping him because the feeds were down for like a few hours yesterday afternoon. So it could have happened during that time. I don't know. But I do know that during that time, all of the house guests got to see one family member each in the phone room. I believe they had 5 minutes with their family. Their family member was behind plexiglass, no touching, just like Arrested Development. But yeah, they've done this on the show before with the glass, and you're not allowed to like touch them, but you get to talk to them. That's fun. Aw. So Helena, Josh, and Jacy Lynn each saw their moms. Betty saw her boyfriend Ian, and Kevin saw his wife, Julian. So that's really awesome that they were able to do that. The house guests were all feeling pumped up and refreshed after these family visits. They feel like they're ready to take on the rest of the game now. Get your tissues ready for Thursday's episode. I'm sure it's going to be a tearjerker. So later, Kevin had a quick game chat with Jacy Lynn in the purple bedroom. And Jacy Lynn says, I had a pretty good chat earlier with Helena. I would like to have one soon with you. Maybe also one with both of you together. Maybe we can make that happen. And Kevin's like, I don't want you assuming that I'm going to vote the same way as Helena. And Jacy Lynn's like, no, I'm not lumping you two together. Don't worry. And Kevin's like, it might be fun to make it a tie this week and put the pressure on Betty. My God, Kevin. It's a little insensitive to say to somebody when they're up on the block. But Jacy Lynn says, Betty would definitely send me home. She feels like Betty's original target was Josh this week, but now Josh is pulling Betty back in. True. That is what it seems like. Jacy Lynn says Josh knows how to play Betty's emotions. Betty is a very emotional player. Uh, her decisions are really influenced by that. So they agree that they're going to talk more another time. All right. A little later, Jacy Lynn and Helena chat in the bathroom, and Jacy Lynn says, "I had the weirdest conversation with Kevin." She tells Helena all about how Kevin said not to assume that he and Helena are voting the same way, and how he also said that it would be fun to split the vote this week. I just want to note here, Kevin already debriefed Helena about this conversation, so it's not like it was a surprise to her. But Jacy Lynn says that would not be a fun situation for me. She's not feeling very confident that Betty would keep her safe. Yeah, I don't think she would. But Jacy Lynn's like, "Are you out of your effing mind?" So then Helena says, "Don't worry about it. Kevin is really on a high right now after that family visit." But Helena says she is not doing a split vote this week. However, she's starting to kind of like ease Jacy Lynn into the idea that she could be going this week because she says, I'm kind of getting the vibe that Betty wants to keep Josh and Kevin seems like he is leaning that way too. If I can't convince them to keep you, then I'm going to have to vote the same way as them to secure my own safety. So this is very similar to the excuse that Helena was giving Jacy Lynn last week before the Gino flip when she was saying like, "Oh, I don't know what Kevin's going to do. I don't want to be on the wrong side of the vote." So it's a very similar reasoning here that Helena is explaining to Jacy Lynn. So Helena says, "I know you don't want to hear that. And I'm not saying that it's definitely happening. But if I don't have Kevin and Betty's support, I'm not going to be able to vote to keep you." And Jacy Lynn's like, "I get that." But Helena says, "I don't want you out of this game. But again, the vibe that I'm getting is that Kevin wants to keep Josh." So Jacy Lynn says, "Well, I don't understand why, because Josh would take Betty to the end, not Kevin." And Helena's like, "I know, I get it." She tells Jacy Lynn, "Just keep fighting, talk to Kevin. We'll see what we can do here." So Jacy Lynn says, "It just pisses me off if Josh and Betty slide through another week." And she says, at that point, Josh deserves to win. She says, "It's just so wild to me. If Josh stays, it's like handing him the prize. It's like giving him the 100 grand." She says, "I would vote for Josh if he was in the end." And I'm wondering if this is like some sort of veiled threat to Helena as well. Like, don't take Josh to the end because I'll vote for him over you. But Jacy Lynn says, Kevin must have like a final three with Josh and Betty because he's just too close to both of them. Okay. So then the rest of the night was pretty chill. Everybody was just riding high from their family visits. They were all just hanging out, having a good time. And then this morning, Kevin was talking to the cameras and he's like, "Oh, when I saw Jillian, I said that I hope I'm not being too much of a villain this season." He's hoping that he's keeping it fun. He's down to be the villain, but he doesn't want to be like some dark villain. He says a villain without fun is just dark. And then he's like, "Maybe I'm not the villain at all. You never know until you get out of here." Honestly, I think Kevin has been a very enjoyable villain, kind of giving me like Hades in the Hercules movie vibes. Obviously he's a villain, but like he's fun. We're having a good time with it, right? You can root for him to a certain extent. No, I would root for Kevin way more than I'd root for Hades. But anyway, I think he's been a lot of fun. That's just my opinion. So then Kevin asks the live feed viewers, like, who should we send home? It's not that easy of a decision this week. Kevin says he's leaning towards evicting Jacy Lynn. He says, "My strength is not the competition's." He really would like to get a win moving forward, and he's hoping that getting rid of Jacy Lynn will give him a better chance to win competitions because she's been really good in comps so far. So a little later, Kevin and Betty have a game chat in the beach room. Of course, they're talking about the vote for this week. And Kevin says, "All right, I've thought everything through and I feel pretty good about keeping Josh. What do you think, Betty?" And Betty's like, "Well, Josh clearly doesn't have my back, but I feel like Jacy Lynn is due for another win, and that's not really something that I want to see happen, especially since I can only play in the POV competition next week. So it would make sense for Betty to want one of the stronger competitors to go. So then Kevin brings up the subject of the next eviction, and he says Josh can beat any of us in the final two by a landslide. So we can't really like go to the end with Josh, right? We can't even bring him to the final three. Kevin says he wants to go to the final three with Betty and Helena. And this is something that he's been working on for a little while now. Betty agrees, yeah, Josh is going to have to go next week. I'm not sure how genuine Betty is about this. I think the triple eviction was a huge eye opener for her, and she's realizing, like, crap, I got to play this game for myself and not for Josh. But I don't know if she would actually cut him or not if it was up to her. So I'm curious to know what her true feelings are about that. But Betty says, I'm thinking extremely logically here. I'm here for the $100,000, not 20K, right? And she says, oh, I'm still going to be friends with Josh after the show, even if I do get rid of him. And Kevin agrees. He's like, yeah, we're going to go to Josh's wedding. It's going to be great. Okay, so then back to this week's vote. Kevin brings up that Jacy Lynn has Gino advocating for her in the jury. Gino knows her game inside out, so he's able to explain things to people. And Betty's like, wow, I didn't even think of that. That's so smart, Kevin. She just kept telling him how smart that is. And she's like, this is crystal clear to me now, right? Got to get Jacy Lynn out of here. So it seems pretty locked in now that Jacy Lynn will be leaving on Thursday. It could still flip, but as of right now, it's looking pretty certain that she'll be going. So there hasn't been much else happening yet today. The house guests like caught a housefly that was flying around. I don't know. They were also wondering what is going on behind that door that has been counting down since the beginning. That countdown is due to end in a few days. So I want to hear in the comments your theories on what's back there. What is it? Is it for the BBCan Awards? Is it some twist in the game? What is it? I don't know, but we'll see what happens. We've got 2 days left until the eviction. Hi, Bowie. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah. Looks like everybody's enjoying this season so far. I have to say, it's been a fun season. There have been a couple like moments for sure, like cringy, not great. I'm referring specifically to Marty and Kyle basically splitting the house by race.
So it's not a good time.
Yes, but there have been some, overall the season has been a blast. Like it was so many unexpected moments, so many twists and turns.
Felt like we were in the upside down.
Yeah, right? That's what it seems like. But I want to thank today's super chatter, Nick Petrella. Thank you so much for the super chat. I just want to make sure you're on here for tomorrow. Okay. So Nick says, thank you for all that you do. Been a fan of yours for 6 years now. Oh my goodness. And he asks, who do you want to win and who do you think will win? I feel like I would love to see either, honestly, I'd be happy with like anybody winning at this point. They've all played. Well, I feel like she's going on Thursday. But there could be a twist. Who knows? I feel like they're all deserving. I think they've all played different games, which is really interesting going into this end game. But I think my top two to win would be Kevin or Betty.
I could get behind that.
I just really enjoyed both of them so much. I feel like Kevin has been playing a better game, but I just love Betty so much as a person.
But who will win?
And who will win? It's really tough to say. I feel like I might go with Josh because I think he could beast it out in these last competitions. I think he could win out. And I think if he gets to the end, he's going to have a lot of people voting for him. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to these final competitions.
A lot of these villains that keep it secret have trouble convincing the jury. What they did.
I mean, Kevin and Helena have played such a low profile game. Like they've kept their moves so secretive that I don't know if they're going to be able to explain everything that they've done in the time that they're given. So who knows? But Nick, seriously,
it's relying on jury word of mouth.
Yes, Nick, thank you so much for watching us for so long. That's amazing. That's all we got today.
Yeah.
This is like the last week of feeds, so.
Oh my god.
I know. And that's what I'm assuming anyway. I don't know if that's what they do every year.
That's what we do it every year.
Yeah.
It's the office.
Unless they change things, that's usually how it goes.
Breakfast. We do it every year.
Right. But I want to thank you all so much for being here today. And we'll be back tomorrow for more. So thank you all so much. And until next time, much love. Bye. Bye, everybody.